Take your place with the brave ones. I am not broken, and I am not alone. These boxes can get in your mind and find your weaknesses. Yes, it's the last character promo for Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut, and it was amazing. Don't forget to follow me and tag me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. What I loved about these character promos is each one Zack has given us the story arc behind these characters. And basically by doing this, he's telling us my Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut isn't just a light show and explosions and great visuals and great action. Every one of these characters gets a story arc. This is a deep dive, and the Snyderverse has been a deep dive from the very, very beginning of the Snyderverse. And this is what I like about this guy, Zack Snyder, his depth. He is not just about giving you a great light show. No matter what the critics and access media say, you are wrong. And this cyborg character promo is brilliant. It really is, because again, it's very emotional. It really is a bit like the Flash one, isn't it? You really see this guy going through it and pushing to another level to defeat the darkness, which is getting inside of his head, because the mother box, basically the technology that is cyborg, is formed basically through a mother box. So it means the mother box is a part of him, which means he's got all this tech inside of him. It's talking to him. It's absolutely driving him insane. And so it really is, when Zack says that cyborg is the heart of the picture, he means it. I've said a lot of things about Ray Fisher in the past, positive and negative, because life is a balance and it can't be all good and it can't be all bad. But one thing I've been consistent about, Ray Fisher is a great young actor. And this movie was a breakout role for him. He'd done a couple of things before, but this was massive. Zack Snyder really gave him an element of trust and saw the talent that I see in him as well. And I hope that people appreciate how talented Ray Fisher is. And he's really been the actor, really coming on social media, talking about the promos, getting excited, getting positive. And it's absolutely fantastic. I have loved every single one of these promos. I think we may get another one later on. I think we'll get a little something. I'm not quite sure. But it is so exciting. Every day, you Americans start your day with a promo. And I wait all day. The promo's coming. I have my cup of tea and slice of cake. Then it's ready to watch and I do my reaction. But yeah, brilliant. It's really been an education for me, seeing these promos, and an education for the normies as well, who thought this was going to be the same movie as the 2017 movie. And it's nothing like that. As I say, this is a deep dive into the psyche of these DC characters. And the more I see, the more marketing I see, the more excited I get for this movie. This has got to be one of the most anticipated films of all time. A 4-hour deep dive into these DC characters. And I couldn't be more pleased with the way Zack's been doing this marketing. May get a final full trailer, which is also exciting. Expect more marketing every single day. Not sure what he's going to do. I suspect he'll do more character promos, Lois Lane, characters like that. Maybe even Martian Manhunter, even Martha Kent. That will be interesting, because Martha Kent, a.k.a. Diane Lane, has always got a great dialogue, and Zack's really taken care of that character. And especially the relationship between Martha and Henry Cavill's Clark Kent, Kal-El, a.k.a. Superman. So I expect more character promos, but this one was on the money. 10 out of 10. I have to say my favourite one is The Flash. I thought that really was my favourite one, but I loved them all. There wasn't one that I thought, oh, no, they were all great. Aquaman, I think Batman and Superman were awesome, but my favourite definitely has to be The Flash. But that's not what all I'm going to talk about in this video today, because Deb Snyder has been talking to journalist Jason, let's say this properly, Guerrazio. I think that's how you say it. Justice League producer Deborah Snyder shares how she and husband Zack overcame a wall of grief to make the Snyder Cut a reality. Deborah Snyder was in a hotel room having just spent a day talking to journalists while promoting 2017's Wonder Woman when her husband and producing partner Zack Snyder completely hit a wall. Zack just said to me, "I can't do this anymore," the producer told Insider over a Zoom call from her home office in Los Angeles. The two had just buried Zack's 20-year-old daughter, Autumn, who died by suicide in March of 2017. Snyder and Zack thought they could handle the work despite their loss. Deep in production on their ill-fated film Justice League, they mixed grieving with shouldering a movie that Warner Bros. Desperately needed to be a hit. Featuring iconic superhero characters Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg and The Flash in the same movie, it was to be DC Comics' answer to Marvel's hugely successful The Avengers. "We thought going back to work would make it easy and take our minds off of it," she said. "I think in hindsight you really have to face things and not put them in the background." The two eventually exited the project before it was finished. When it was released by Warner Bros. Later that year, it resulted in a subpar $658 million worldwide box office gross on a $300 million budget, not counting marketing. Notably, it was not the version that Snyder and her husband spent years trying to get onto the screen. Instead, it had been severely reconfigured by Joss Whedon, the same director that Snyder would later have to report to the studio for allegedly inappropriate behavior on the movie's set. Yes, Debbie's saying in this interview she reported Joss Whedon, something before today we didn't actually know. Ever since 2017, fans have been on a quest fueled by the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut. Yeah, we have, to get Warner Brothers to show Zack's version of the movie, and finally Snyder, 57, and her husband are set to release the true version of Justice League, or as the internet has dubbed it, the Snyder Cut. Deb does not look 57. She looks 47, mate. Wow. Beautiful woman, intelligent woman. She's great. Love her. Not in that way, Zack. It's all right. Calm down. Snyder, who began her career as a production assistant at ad agency Baka Spivolgo, whatever that is, Bait, worked her way up in the industry. By 1996, she had become an executive producer. That's when she hired an up-and-coming director to helm a Lady Foot Locker commercial. We went to this desert, and we actually didn't have any permits for this one. Shot of this mountain climber. Snyder told Insider, recalling how scared she was when a park ranger hassled her for one. "That was my first job with Zack." They continued to work together and eventually married in 2004. Zack brought along 6 kids with him to the relationship, including his late adopted daughter Autumn. Snyder and Zack then adopted 2 children after marrying. Along with raising their large family, Snyder also became more involved in Zack's work. "When Zack was doing Dawn of the Dead, I had so many opinions. I remember being in the edit room with the studio execs and the producer there, and I was like, you can't be doing that for a sequence," she said. "They had this look like, who is this chick?" Dawn of the Dead, a 2004 remake of the 1978 George A. Romero classic zombie movie, put Zack on the map as the movie made over $100 million worldwide on a $26 million budget. But it's not a coincidence that when Snyder turned away from the ad business world and began producing Zack's movies, his next film would go on to make him a star. The 2006 film 300, an adaptation of Frank Miller's highly fictionalized graphic novel retelling of the bloody battle of, Thermopylae, brought in a whopping $456 million at the worldwide box office on a $65 million budget. Wow, his first couple of movies didn't cost much to make, did they? She has amazing taste and she gets ideas quickly, which is a great skill as a producer, Zack told Insider. Looking back on his wife's evolution, she was all about the work, and the work was the most important thing. Suddenly, the Snyders were one of the leading directing producing duos in Hollywood. Their stature only increased when Christopher Nolan offered them the 2013 Superman movie Man of Steel. Nolan executive produced all the DC Comics movies the Snyders have made. The Snyders were now the leaders of Warner Brothers' DC movie universe. They made 2016's Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, and produced 2016's Suicide Squad and 2017's Wonder Woman. It all would lead to Zack helming Justice League, the major tentpole in the DC Extended Universe, which should have been the culmination of years of hard work building a franchise from scratch. The two planned to take a year off to focus on their family following their daughter's death. It turned into two. Whedon, director of Marvel's The Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, who was already doing rewrites on Justice League, was brought on to complete it. That was a disastrous choice, along with much of Snyder's footage being pushed aside for Whedon's reshoots. The Justice League set under Whedon's control had reportedly become an uncomfortable place to work. On July 1st, 2020, close to 3 years after Justice League opened in theatres, actor Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg in the movie, tweeted that Whedon's behaviour on set was gross, abusive and unprofessional and completely unacceptable. Soon other stars from the movie spoke out, including Jason Momoa, who plays Aquaman, and Gal Gadot, who plays Wonder Woman. An investigation by Warner Media concluded in 2020 with no details given except that remedial action was being taken. Snyder said Fisher's revelations were not a surprise to her because after leaving the movie, she was notified of an inappropriate incident involving Whedon. But there was one incident I was aware of that I had reported back to the studio right before the movie came out. She said, I went to the higher-ups that someone came to me about Joss. I think I was resolved in a way that the person was happy with Snyder, Let's say that again. I think it was resolved in a way that the person was happy with. Snyder continued. That's all I can really say. So I'm assuming this is the rumoured incident of Whedon getting angry with Gal when she didn't like the idea of Ezra landing on top of her. And the rumour is he locked her in a cupboard or something. That's a rumour, unsubstantiated. If I can get my words out. We don't know if it's true. If true, it is despicable. He should be in prison for that. Warner Media confirmed Snyder's report to Insider, but had no further comment. Reps for Whedon declined to comment. Snyder said that she and Zack have always strived to create a safe workplace. So it was painful to hear what happened on set once they left. But despite the changes to the movie and the Whedon allegations, Snyder said she and Zack never thought of taking their names off Justice League when it was released. The way I saw it, it was not our movie, but we owed so much to so many people for these years. Starting with Man of Steel, she said, it was a very difficult time. Now the 4-hour Zack Snyder's Justice League will be released on HBO Max and in theatres internationally on March the 18th. After the release, the Snyder Cut movement got so big that Warner Brothers could no longer ignore it, and HBO Max became a reality. Last year, Zack was asked if he would make a version of Justice League the way he always wanted. Snyder said it was Nolan who was helpful in getting Zack back to work. A lot of times directors don't get to talk very often, so I think through this process, it's been nice being outside of Chris Zack. Hadn't talked to a lot of people, Snyder said. The Snyder Cut is a colossally different movie than the 2017 theatrical release in tone and structure. Told over 6 chapters with an epilogue, the movie has a new beginning, ending, but the biggest difference is it delves much deeper into all the characters as they try to recover the mother boxes from villain Steppenwolf, Kieran Hines, and bring Superman Henry Cavill back to life to help in the battle. Whedon's contributions are gone, including Cyborg saying booyah, and a Russian family that needs to be saved by parademons. In fact, so is Whedon's screenwriting credit. And despite the conflicting reports of how much had to be shot to make the Snyder Cut a reality, Snyder said there was only one new scene, everything else had already been shot during principal photography and just needed to be edited back into the movie. The gargantuan task was pulling off 2,065 new visual effect shots in 7 months. It was an enormous undertaking, Snyder said of the process. Some of the effects we had to redo because it wasn't in our style, and Zack wanted to go back and put in some of the early character designs. We really put everything back in. Snyder told Insider that if their family tragedy hadn't happened, the 2017 release would not be what Zack Snyder's Justice League is today. HBO Max made that possible. So you lot slaughtering HBO Max for the mistake and the leak, remember that. The studio wanted things differently than we wanted, she admitted. Just theatrically, what you're allowed to do is different. I feel streaming affords risks taking and character development and so many things. The Snyders will delve deeper into the non-theatrical space when they launch their Netflix zombie heist movie Army of the Dead on May 21st. It's expected to be the start of a franchise for the streaming giant. Where does that leave Justice League sequels? I'm just going to celebrate this now, Snyder said, of finally getting the Snyder Cut into the world. My best asset as a producer is to be nimble, she added. You have a plan, but that plan is probably going to fall apart at some point, and you need to come up with another plan and keep moving. Wow. So she didn't want to comment on what happens after Justice League in terms of the DCEU. That's a positive thing because nobody wants to talk until this monster is released and they see how it does in terms of subscriptions, views, selling it digitally, so many different things. And of course, it will get different, and they'll start getting new views for it when they do Justice is Grey, that black and white noir version as well. It's a really, really thought-provoking interview as far as I'm concerned. I didn't know she reported Whedon. It's definitely about the gal thing, I think, anyway. But it's always nice to read these things and find out more about what went wrong with Whedon's production and Deb Snyder's involvement. Zack and Deb are this prolific couple. They work well together, and they've worked well together since day one. It's just more to celebrate. Whedon's gone. This is Zack's vision, and I can't wait to see it. Comment down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with more videos. See you again soon.